All right, I am recording. So happy Friday. Today is also September 11th. So it's like mixed feelings for me today. I know that this morning I woke up and I was like, oh, but at the end of the day, I mean, as long as we remember them in our hearts and in our minds, and we just, try to remember that we're better together, I think that we can carry through the day. So what I want to do is, basically today is follow up Friday, and I just want to share a couple tips of how it is that I slay my follow-ups. Like, I love follow-up day because it's the day usually that I am able to lock in my goals. If I have not hit Success Club, like, Friday is a day that I usually will hit it, just because of the fact that I know that corporate America gets paid today. So if you could keep that in mind and you could come with a good, happy vibe, like, then you can just really, like, have a perspective that today's a good day for people to make their move, especially that it's right before the weekend. So a lot of people are happy, and believe it or not, all those emotions do play. We are in an, like, involved in an emotional business. So that's something that you definitely, like, should keep in mind. So today's a day where I absolutely would suggest that if you don't have a system, make Fridays your follow-up day. If you want to follow up every day, that's fine. And that's, everybody runs their business differently. But for me, follow-up Friday is golden. Like, I love follow-up Friday. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just get started with sharing. I have 7 tips for you, and then I'm going to give you some action steps. 7 tips and then action steps. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. I'm already recording, so I'm sure that other people hop on. If not, I'll just share the recording. So guys, what is Follow Friday? Follow Friday to me is the behind the scenes work that it's your responsibility to do. If you're here to be profitable in this business, you are running a business. And so you need to get organized and you need to have a system. I know for me, when I first started, I was just kind of like flying by the seat of my pants. And I was just like, oh, I'm just going to share my journey on social media. But almost 5 years later, this business has drastically changed. So you really need to have, like, organization and a system. So that you can do the behind the scenes and so that people don't fall through the cracks. So the quote that has always stuck with me to get me to, like, carry me through this business is, your effort needs to match your goal. You could have a goal. You could say that you want to hit Success Club. You could say that you want to earn, $500 a week in this business. You could say that you want to be an elite coach. But if your effort is not matching your goal, unfortunately, it's not going to pan out. So there's a lot of behind the scenes that needs to get done and follow. They say that the fortune is in the follow-up. So write that down. Your effort needs to match your goal, and the fortune is in the follow. All right. So my number one tip is always have something to invite to. Why? Because then you could always have something that you can follow up on. If you don't have anything that you're inviting to, what are you going to follow up on? So you have to constantly, when you plan out your month, and this I've learned just recently, just because, again, mom life. But when you plan out your month, know when is your next challenge group going to start? When is there a sneak peek? So that way you can start saying, okay, I'm going to start promoting it, like reverse engineer. And when you start promoting it and you're starting to invite, you can follow up regarding, like, hey, did you see how I, just posted on my stories how I have this challenge group that's starting on September the 14th. Just want to circle back with you. However it is you're going to talk, and we're going to get into that later. But if you don't have something to invite to, there's no way you can follow up on anything. Just saying, hey, you want to join me is really like, join you in what? Am I running a race with you? Like, what am I, joining you for? So when you follow up, you have a reason to create that urgency because your group is about to start, whether it's the coaching sneak peek or a challenge group. It's almost like connecting the dots. You're connecting the dots for them. You're like saying, I have this group and I'm following up with you to go ahead and get started. So you're connecting that that bridge almost. Number 2, mindset. Do not take it personal. Mindset is do not take it personal. You will get the no's. You're gonna, basically feel like if they're saying no to you, it's not about you. And people do get busy. I know now with this e-learning, I think everybody that I've spoken to is absolutely crazy. So what I want you to remember is that maybe your message slipped through the cracks. Maybe they looked at it, put their phone down because the baby was crying. Like maybe, they got a phone call right when they were in the middle of reading your message and they're like, hello? And then they forgot, right? Like things can happen. So do not take it personal. It's not about you if they, don't get back to you or they say no. I want you to remove that, that mindset of that or remove the emotion rather. In this aspect, you should remove the emotion because again, people just slip through the cracks or, they get busy. It's like I said, they maybe didn't even follow up on their messages and life gets crazy. Number 3, expect the ghosting. They will ghost you. They will absolutely just kind of ignore because they're in denial or they're scared. They don't want to jump on. They're absolutely like, I'm not ready for this. I want to, but I don't want to. It's almost like if people become wishy-washy in their own journey, in what they want to start. I know for me, when I first started running and I was going to do my half marathon, I was on and off. Do I do it? Do I not? Do I do it? Do I not? And that was free. That wasn't even an investment that I needed to make. Because I literally, the struggle and the battle in my mind was, do I go outside and run around my block? Do I not do it? Am I going to do it tomorrow? Am I going to look like a failure to the people that I share that I'm running? Like, and like I said, that was absolutely free. And I struggled with that. Imagine if people have to make an investment of $140, $160 if they're going to buy a challenge pack. Even $40 for the 3-month bod. Guys, times are tough and people have, lost their jobs. So that could be a battle for them, but you're going to bridge the gap and showing them how priorities is what's going to get them to absolutely get this gift that we have. I can tell you that I literally, every time I would go to Target, I would spend $300. And about a year ago, I was like, you know what? I'm done. I am absolutely done. I have not stepped into Target in like 10 months. Because I'm just like, it takes my money and I cannot. So it's the same thing, you have to kind of like share within your lifestyle how the priority and the investment is on yourself. It's on your mental health and it's on what how you want to live and what you want to consume, all those things, what you want to put inside your mind, all of those things. I will say that when they ghost you in the beginning of my journey, I lost my mojo. I started like losing belief. I got super disappointed. And one thing that I found that absolutely really got me to like say, okay, I'm going to do this. And I'm just like not going to be afraid was I got a wing girl. I call her my wing girl, but I was lucky enough to have 4. So one of the things that I will share with you that has really helped me in my business was that in the beginning, because I was so afraid to deal with objections, I was so afraid to deal with the ghosting, I literally partnered up with my sister coaches. So if you girls can, hook up with another sister coach, maybe in this group that you find that you have commonality and you're like, hey girl, I know you're running for Diamond. Like, I know we don't know each other, but we're under the same sponsor or we're under the same team. Do you want to, it's almost like a success partner, but if you need like 1 or 4, however many you need, it's amazing because that's really going to give you wings. That's why I call them my wing girls. It gave me wings to fly in this business. That's when my business literally took like a pivot in the right direction. Because every time that I got an objection and I did not know how to handle it, I would go to my wing girls and I would screenshot the convo and I would be like, hey, can you please help me how to respond to this? Like, I know what I want to say, but I don't know how to say it. I don't know if it's coming off right. So you want to make sure that you can have different, opinions of saying, yes, girl, battle it this way. This is how I would say it. And when you have more than one, it's great because it's more minds that are absolutely giving you different perspectives so that you can, like make sure that you're responding to that person with value. Sometimes we, in that moment of the conversation, get so caught up because you're like, oh my God, she responded. Now what? Do I send the link? It's like your wing girls are like, pause, recollect yourself and focus. And this is how you're going to respond. If it's an objection, of course, sometimes, it'll affect our moods, our emotions. Take it to the wing girls because they're going to tell you, this is how you should, respond, or this is how I would respond. And that way you could then, like create your own response within your own voice and your wording, but you have different perspective. So when you expect the ghosting, don't lose your confidence. You will get the no's. Go right back to your wing girls. And guys, if you are doing the vital behaviors, you are going to absolutely be confident in your follow-ups. So when the objection comes, there's no reason for you to be shying away or backing off, because your journey, if you're doing the vital behaviors, it's your journey. And no one can take that from you. No one can tell you this is not working. If you're doing personal development and it has changed your mindset, no one can take that from you. If you are all in on the program and showing up every day and you're getting results, no one could tell you it's not working. If you are, really into your nutrition, even if there's times where you have treats, but you're 80% of the time really going in on your nutrition so that it becomes a lifestyle and it's just habits, they can't take that from you either. More than likely, if you're a mom, you're going to pass those habits to your husband and your kids. You're showing proof, social proof, that that's the way that you live. So the belief is going to be there if you're doing the vital behaviors. Number 4, it's your job to follow up. It is our job to follow up. We are not a bother. We are a professional, a CEO that is running a business, that is not doing this just to be wishy-washy and, let me see if I could, make a paycheck. If you're here to be serious, and I would expect that in this group, then you have to think of yourself as that you are an entrepreneur, and entrepreneurs have systems. And their system is to be, a professional with order so that they can run not only their business, but the leaders within that business, which is your downline. Remember, the goal is duplication here too. So if you don't have a system, how are you going to teach your downline? Then they're going to feel lost. So you've got to make sure that you have that in order. And your job to follow up, it's just kind of looking at it like, hey, I'm an assistant. Like, hey, I'm following up with you. Just wanted to make sure, did you have a chance to look at the, nutrition details that I sent you? Did you try the recipe? It's almost like if you're an assistant, like, girl, did that work for you? Did you check out my playlist? Did that help you in your running? You're just over here like saying, I'm going to assist you in this journey. It's almost like if you're telling them, this is important, you are important, you deserve this too. That's the perspective that you should have with your follow-up. Number 5, talk like if it's your bestie. This is not something that it should be taken like so serious that you lose the joy in your journey, that you lose the joy in your business. I know for me, when I feel that I am talking like myself and I'm talking to like my bestie, when I do my follow-ups, I personally use voice record, the little microphone on the Instagram, because then they get to hear my energy. They get to hear my passion. They get to see how I talk. They get to hear how I talk. They actually get to see like part of my personality. Like I know there's a bunch of people that have heard about, hey girl, I don't do hey girl, I do hey love, because that's how I'll talk. If I see you at an event, when I saw Maddie at NLC, I was like, hey love, how you doing? Because that's how I talk. And that's what they're going to get from me in their follow-ups, right? And that's what they should get. Because remember, we are sharing the lifestyle of ourselves. We are selling our brand ourselves. So you should just be you. Share your voice. Use your own unique voice to do the following up and the inviting. Remember, this is not transactional. This is relational. So when you build those relationships and they get to hear your voice and they get to see who you are and how, you know, how your personality is, that's how they're gonna feel that emotion from you. And that's what we're called to do. We are called to evoke emotions. We are called to build relationships. We are masters at building relationships. So look at yourself with that light, and you're gonna see how this job is gonna be very different. This career, you're gonna find the joy in it. If you're just following up with copy paste, copy paste, copy paste, guess what? After you do that 50 times a day for like 2 weeks straight, you're gonna feel burnt out. And you're gonna feel like if you've lost the joy in this business, and it's not gonna stick. This business is about longevity. So you wanna find the joy in your daily, unsexy, behind the scenes duties. You may have a goal. There might be a season where, yes, you're gonna pump out way more invites, way more follow-ups. But if you're building relationships every day, there's no reason why you should be copying and pasting, because the scripts becomes very transactional and we are relational. So you want to basically just remind them, like if you're talking to your bestie, like, this is what I've done, this is what I recommend that you do. I get a lot of objections sometimes about that they don't have time. And I'm like, girlfriend, I was there. I come with compassion, and I'm like, I was there. I was the girl that was like, I don't have time. I'm a housewife and I have a million chores and I'm like running around doing my errands all day. But you know what it was? It was just my priorities were off. So I'll talk to them like if they're my friend. I'll be like, girlfriend, wake up a little bit earlier, or don't do that, you know, Netflix marathon. Sacrifice. If you're gonna, you know, watch Netflix, make that your reward after you invest, you know, an hour for yourself, an hour into your fitness journey, your mental health. Like, that is what we should be prioritizing. So you want to make sure that when they come at you with an objection, like, let's say that they're like, oh my gosh, I don't drink shakes, or the shake is too expensive. I'll be like, if I'm talking to my bestie, expensive compared to what? Compared to what? Because if you could do a Target run for $400, $300, but you're going to complain about $4 a day to invest in your health and fitness, I'm so sorry, girl. Like, I'm just, you know, and I sometimes can straight talk. I am not afraid. You know why? Because I'm confident in this business. I have all the belief. It has changed my life. And if you're coming to me to tell me that you want me to change yours, then do what I have done, because I'm showing, I'm paving the way. I just have more time invested. I just, you know, probably, you know, I'm a little bit ahead of you within time. But if I am doing, you know, if I'm doing the work and I'm showing you it works, why aren't you, you know, like following, like in that, following what I recommend? That's kind of like my attitude. And you could say it in many different ways. There's times where, you know, I'll be obviously a little bit more passionate, more compassionate. But if it's somebody that has been following me for a while, we've been talking, like, that straight talk does come out in me because I'm confident. And I make sure to tell them, I wholeheartedly believe in this, hand over heart. Like, if you're coming to me to tell me that you're inspired by me and you want to do what I'm doing to get the results, then you've got to do what I've done, because I've shown you for 4.5 years. So make sure that, you know, don't be afraid of the objection. And that's actually a good thing, because then that means that you have communication. That means that they're not ghosting you. And that's like a win for me. I'm like, oh yeah, she came out of the closet. She's not hiding anymore, because a lot of times they'll ghost you. You're like, hello, did I say something to offend you? Did I say something to scare you? Like, make sure that you are just showing, like, you know, don't be afraid of me, girlfriend. Like, I see you watching my stories. Like, let's go, let's run together. Join, you know, my boot camp. We're going to have so much fun. Like, share all the things that this business has done for you. Even if you haven't earned a paycheck, I guarantee you that you can make a list of at least 3 things that this community has given you, that the Beachbody world has given you. Whether it's community, whether it's that income, whether it's the friendships, whether it's the focus of a morning routine maybe, whether it's your fitness, whether it's the now with the Unstress program. Let's say you just jumped on because you're into the meditation, or you want to become a runner, so you're jumping on that wagon, or you've learned how to eat right. I mean, there's so many things that Beachbody has opened the doors for us. Autumn's book, I couldn't love her anymore. Just that book alone, I'm like, whoa, there's like gold in there. So that, you know, I saw that because I'm in the Beachbody world. So make a list of the things that you've been like, holy crap, like I learned about this because of this, and share that. Share that. Okay. So number 6, moving on. I had touched about this a little bit like right now, but it's something that absolutely be you. Coach your way. Coach your way. Use your voice, use your scripts. You know, don't be afraid to use humor if that's something that, you know, really makes like for you to like break the ice. Like sometimes I'll throw a GIF, you know, with like, hello. I don't know. I mean, it's going to show my age, but many years ago, there was a Mervin's commercial and it was this girl going open, open, open. And that's kind of like, right? And that's kind of like what I like to think of. I'm like, open, open, open my message. I'm here. Like, let's go. So you could use the humor. Sometimes, you know, just coach your way. Like, what is it that's going to make you feel like if you're not being icky when you do that follow up? You know, maybe, you know, and this goes with the action steps, but maybe just share your playlist that you were listening to this morning, or maybe share your morning routine book. And then you could see, you could come back and say, hey girl, how did that work out for you? Like, you know, make sure that you're coaching your way. It doesn't have to be what anybody else is doing. You could take the information and the training and the wisdom, but then turn it into your own way of, you know, serving your people. And the last one is number 7. Value. We talk about this all the time about how, you know, we should be just making sure that we are serving our audience with value. So I know Monica talks about this book all the time, Jab, 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 Right Hook. And yesterday she did a power hour and she did talk about how it may be a little bit updated. But in my business, since I started 4.5 years ago, that book had recently, I think, had come out, and it was like the thing that everybody was talking about. And so that book is basically about how you're going to jab, jab, jab with value. You're going to give, give, give. And then with the right hook, you're going to ask. So make sure that when you follow up, you have given them value. Don't just do an invite and then like, hey girl, you ready? Because that can come off icky to many people. So if you are inviting directly or indirectly in your posts, and you are in your stories, and you are building that relationship with them, giving them value. Oh my gosh, girl, you know what? I got these leggings. You told me how cute they were. Here's a link to Amazon. Like if you're giving value, hey girl, thought of you. This recipe came up and I know the other day you celebrated my overnight notes. Here you go, girl. This has been a hit in my home. Like make sure that you're giving that value so that when you're like, you do the invite, they see it, they're ready. They kind of tell you, I'm interested. When you go for that follow-up, they're ready. Because they know that you're just not about the transaction. You're more about the relationship. All right, so those are my 7 tips that really help me get into the state of on Fridays when I do my follow-up, like I'm in the zone. I'm gonna give you a couple of action steps. So, because I'm sure that you're probably thinking, all right, Susie, great. You've given me all these tips, but now what? How do I turn it into action? So number 1, go right back to your resources. Your list should be, number 1, I go to my share carts. If I have sent out share carts that they have not like completed or they haven't viewed, I'll just go ahead and resend it. Because again, remember, people get busy. The email could have slipped through the cracks. They didn't see it. They opened it, got interrupted, didn't go back to it. So make sure that you go to your share carts and go check out who has not finished and completed the share cart. Number 2, go to your hot list. You guys should have a hot list of people that you're building that relationship, that you know it's getting hot in there, and you're like, okay, I'm ready, she's shown interest, we're there, we're talking about it. Go back to that. I'm a pen and paper girl, and I'm gonna share some slides quickly when I'm done with this, but wherever you have your hot list, make sure you pull that out on your follow-up Friday. You should always have about at least 10 people that you are constantly having that conversation, so that you never are in a place of scarcity. You know what I mean? Like, I want you to always be in a place of abundance. always have conversations going. And if you don't know how to start a conversation, go back to inviting training, because the inviting trainings are going to teach you how to really start building those conversations, which really have to do with power hours. Get in the power hours that the No Snooze crew and Diesel Nation is providing for us. All right. Number 3, go right back to your notes. I'm sure you've been in the car or you're cooking and you take a little sticky and you're like, oh my gosh, this girl Viomi, I need to get back to her. And she told me she's a mom of 3. I just had a conversation with her. She's actually a mom of 3 autistic kids. You think that girl is not going crazy? Abso-freaking-lutely. I followed up with her. She hasn't responded. I know that she's probably right now pulling like her hairs, you know what I mean, with e-learning and all the stuff. So I'm going to give her a few days. And when I'm ready, I'm just going to check in and be like, hey girl, how was your week? You're not alone. I'm here. Anything you need. Like, you know what I mean? Like if you need a shoulder or someone's event, I'm here. I'm going to show her that I care, because that girl, if she never buys from me, that's it. We had a conversation on the phone. That girl will forever be my friend. She will always be in my list of that. Viomi's a girl that I need to be lifting up in prayer and having just that, bringing her humor, because I'm in this business to love on people. I'm in this business to serve people. So you want to go back to your notes. Remember, you're bridging the gap. Number 4 is go to your sneak peeks. We just had a sneak peek, so you can go to like any resources that you've given. If you've done, maybe you've done a live and you've talked about challenge groups, or you did the hosting, or you hosted a sneak peek, or you put them in a group. Go back to all those people that you invited and that were there, and just check in on them. Hey girl, what did you love the most about the sneak peek? Wasn't that bomb? Like, or however it is that you talk. Definitely, like, what's holding you back? Oh my gosh, I can't wait for you to join my tribe. This community is everything. It has spiced up my marriage, girl. Don't you know? I'm getting ready for date night tomorrow. Like, whatever it is, your personality, share it, but definitely go back to those people that you've provided resources for. Number 5, go to your last month's conversations. I'm sure that there's people there that fell through the cracks. Go to your messenger, go to your DMs. Just make sure if you have collections and you have them by month, go back there. Who didn't you follow up with? Who said they were interested and they haven't hopped on? That's another place where you can go to. Number 6, go back to your public posts. I'm sure there's people there that have liked and have commented. And if they've liked and they've commented, that's an open door for you to build or start a conversation leading to, if you're, the follow-up. Because if you did a direct public invite and they liked and they commented, that's fair game for you to like start a conversation. Like, hey, thank you so much for supporting, my post or my journey. Did you see how I'm starting a boot camp? Is that something that you're needing in your life right now? Or do you know of anybody that needs this? So you could always follow up in that way. And number 7 is your indirect invites, which is more than likely it's going to be your stories. And if people have, they're watching or they've commented on those stories or they've clicked a poll, that's fair game too for you to go back and follow up. So I've given you 7 tips and 7 action steps to slay your follow-up. Now, I'm going to share my screen really quickly just to go over a couple things that maybe can really connect the dots for you so that you can get organized and really understand how it is that I format my follow-ups. Because I know that in the beginning of this business, I was like, oh my gosh, I need to have all this like on pen and paper. And I don't mind sharing my slides so you guys can have it. But let me go ahead and share my screen now just so that we can chit chat about it for a few minutes, and then I'll let you go so you guys can take action, or we can do question and answer. So slaying your follow-ups, remember the fortune is in the follow-up, and just when you go in, have that mindset that corporate America gets paid today. So you want to make sure that you're tracking your follow-ups as well. Can you go see my screen? I didn't even ask you. Yeah, okay. So pick one and stick with it. Make sure that if you're going to use paper and pen, stick to that. So you have all your follow-ups in one place. If you're a digital person, then and that's your game, that's great. I know I hear a lot that people use Google Streak. I know that some people use like their own like Excel spreadsheet, whatever works for you. If it's digital, then that's your jam, do that. But definitely stick with one. There's an app called Teamsy. I know a lot of coaches use it. I know you do have to pay for it, but just putting it out there in case if anybody's like, is there an app? I know about Teamsy. I've looked at it. I actually had bought it for 1 month, but it didn't work for me. So that's not something that I use, but I know a lot of coaches use it. So if you want to look into that, that's an option. And then the Trello board. Trello board for me is my absolute most favorite digital like tool to use like to organize my business. Like I can share with you like I use my Trello for like my daily to-dos. This is my daily to-do. So you can move around all your little boards. You can, come up with your themes. I have my to-do list. I have everything in my Trello board. I can just it's kind of like a digital to-do list, and you could really play with it. You can set dates, reminders. There's a lot of things you can do with it. So that's another option that you can definitely use. But my point here is to stick with one. And the other thing you could do with follow-ups is, like I talked about in the beginning, is you could actually do it by days. You could do it by months. If you have like a tickler system, I was a paralegal. So there was a system where, every 30 days, you could go back and just be like, hey, I know last month you were interested, I hadn't talked to you. How are things? How are you getting through COVID? How are things working for you? How are you pushing through these hard times? You can follow up in that way. I know some people do like that as well. Or you could do like maybe set your mornings. Okay, every morning I'm going to follow up for like 30 minutes. Or you could do evenings. Okay, every day before I go to bed, I'm going to follow up and dedicate 20 minutes. However it is that you want to do your system, the goal here is to just pick one and stick with it, meaning the tracking and then how you're going to do it. All right, methods or systems. Remember, go to all social media platforms, whether it's Facebook that you're posting there, you want to go there too, or Instagram. Go to your emails as well, or pick up the phone like I did with this girl, Viomi. She was word of mouth from one of my school moms, and she just told me, hey, call this girl. I called her and I had no issue. I just picked up the phone and I was like, hey, Viomi, nice to meet you, girl. Yvette told me to call you, tell me all about you. Like, I know she told me you were interested, but I want to hear all about you. Whatever it is, get on the phone, let them know who you are. If that's your jam, like, I don't mind getting on the phone and spending 10, 15 minutes of my time when I know that I'm going to change someone's life and I'm going to serve them. Because by the end of that call, they're going to still finish with I'm going to give them something of value. Whether it's, I'm going to, give them a quote that they need, I'm going to share a little bit about the information of a challenge pack and all the value. I'll share a third-party tool. When I end the call, I'll be like, can I just text you a video so that you could see what my community is all about? Like, there's so much value you could do, after a phone call. So for me, phone calls are my jam. Simple follow-up messages. These are scripts to get your wheels turning. And like I said, I don't mind sharing it, but don't use this as copy and paste. This is just kind of like to get you to understand, like, if you want to know like what a general follow-up looks like, you can go here. If you have like a cost objection, or if you want to do like something about like joining as an affiliate, that word is awesome when you tell people, hey, that if you join and every friend that you get on board that buys, exactly what you bought, if they bought a challenge pack, there's an affiliate bonus. So you can word it however you want, but there's scripts that can get your wheels turning. And for me, I touched on this before, there's nothing like a voice message. I find that that's definitely also, it's very, it's efficient for me, because instead of texting over and over and over, because I'm not using scripts, I rather just press that little microphone on my DMs and Instagram. And I'm just like, hey love, how are you? Happy Friday. I hope you're doing well. And then I'll just go ahead and like share the follow-up or whatever it is that I'm going to do. And I even do that with my invites, just so you know. So for me, the voice message is a game changer, because they really get to hear, my passion, and it humanizes the actual message. And I think that for me, that's something that's really big, because on social media, sometimes it could come across like, if, well, I really don't know you, it's through a screen, but you're making it personal. You're really sharing, your personality, and you're also showing that you're investing time, that you're not just copy pasting a script. You're showing them that you're investing time to say, hey girl, thinking of you, how are you doing, love? Like, I know these are tough times. I got you. you know, let's get you started. My community is everything. You're going to be super filled. This is going to change your life like it's changed mine. I cannot wait to show you all the value that I pour into my boot camps. I've shared this, and that. Is, you know, I would love to serve you in this way. Is this something that you're needing in your life right now? All right, guys, that's what I have for you. The last thing I will say is that if you want to really slay your game in this business, you need to 10x your efforts, which is why I started the call with your effort needs to match your goal. You could do this for just a few minutes, but if you want to be like the pros, you need to 10x your actions. So that's what I have for you today, guys. I didn't want to go past 30 minutes. I did, but I hope this was of value to you. I didn't look at the chat because if I look at the chat, then I get like very squirrel. But if you guys want to unmute yourself and ask questions, like now's the time. I don't mind staying with you for, you know, as long as we need to, so that you can feel comfortable when you're done with this call. When you're done with this call, I want you to feel empowered. I want you to feel like if you have tools, and I want you to feel energy that you're like ready to go and slay your power hour or your follow-up time. So if you're having something on your mind right now that you want to talk about, please go ahead and just unmute yourself and ask away, because I'm here to help you. Even other coaches, if you're here and you want to pitch in, like there's value in this, in these sessions, especially when they're question and answers, because you learn a lot. And if you're struggling with something personally, then I can just kind of like walk you through it. So go ahead and unmute yourself and ask. Let me check in the chat if there's any questions in the meantime.
Hey, Susie.
Hi.
Mama, silly question, because I'm sorry, I was doing a follow-up on the
Never a silly question. I love questions.
So the last thing you said, your effort needs to match your what?
Your goal.
Okay, I did get it right. I just wanted to make sure I wrote it right. I wrote it on my I got the planner.
Yes, girl.
So I wrote it on there. I'm like, okay. So on the other hand, so I haven't really been inviting just personal stuff. So how do I guess I'm doubting myself right now on how do I just go back? Like I'm doing my workouts and doing my whole Energize, but I'm really not talking about coaching. Like I post my Zoom meetings and I post the workouts, but I'm really not talking about it. So how do I go back?
Okay, so Kathy, my advice to you is, first of all, I want you to get into a state of reminding yourself, why are you in this business? Why are you doing this? You gotta always go back to your why. That's the root of why it is that you're here. Listen, you could right now be with your kids or your parents or doing things around the house that I'm sure we all have to do, or working a job, whatever it is, right? But you're prioritizing your time to be here. That means that there's something deep within that is absolutely like pushing you to work this business, right? Because you're here. Why did you sign up? What was it that just got you to be like, I'm gonna sign up to be a coach? Like, remember who you're working for. Remember who you are, Kathy. We are here to contribute. We are here to love one another. We're here to serve other people. So remember that, get into that state. If you've got to put a playlist or put your AirPods and listen to like a fired up podcast, or put on, you know, the top leader training, Christina Delgado, that will fire you up every single time. Like, even if it's just for 5 minutes, whatever you need to do to get into that state. But your why needs to be at the forefront, and then you're going to get in that state. Once you get in that state, talk about everything that this business has brought to you. You could breadcrumb it, which is little things here and there every day, or you could do it all together, put your energy and put it on a post. Like, make a list of all the things, Kathy, that this business has given you. Like for me, I know off the bat, I literally was super depressed. I am no longer depressed. I felt that I didn't have purpose. Now I have purpose. I felt that my marriage had fallen into a straight line. Right now, my marriage is like, woo, babe, let's go. You know what I mean? So you've got to remind yourself about that, so that then that gives you that energy to share that. And when you're sharing, which you could do it on your stories, like in a you know, like as a live video, like you could talk into it, or you could put your energy into like a little post. or like little stories, like, you know, like those little storytells,
Mhm.
whatever you're gonna do, talk to that one woman that needs you today, or talk to that one woman that was the old Kathy. Talk to that one woman that today needs light. Talk to that one woman that needs hope. Talk to that one woman that doesn't see a way out. Talk to that one woman that is stressed. Talk to that one woman that needs order. Talk to that woman that wants a place to belong. There are so many things that you can talk about, and that's what you need to share that coaching has brought you. It's not just the fitness, it's not just the shake, it's not just the book, it's not just the paycheck, it's not just the community, it's all of it. And if it's just one thing, I guarantee you that that one thing has an underlying other thing. Like, you joined this because you wanted to maybe, you know, get super toned and fit, but what got you to do that? It was that girl that just kept like probably pouring into you in your mind. So you've got to remember that. Those are the things that you could say, I was that girl. I was in that place and I took action, and now I am filled with this, or I've overcome this problem because I found a solution. You know, I had this issue, but I took action. Does that make sense?
Thank you. Yes.
You're
That
welcome.
makes a lot of sense.
Remember who you are, girl, and we are here to contribute. So just go back to that place. And that's why I say find your wing girl or find your wing girls, because in a second I can reach out to my girls and I'll be like, girls, I ain't feeling it. Like, let's go. Like, is anybody on? Anybody working out? Or anybody want to do a power hour? Or do you guys, what did you hear this morning? Can you share a good podcast? And right away, your wing girls are going to be like, yeah, girl, I got you. So I find that in this business, it's very hard to do it alone. Like today, when you're done with this call, go hook up with a wing girl. Go find a group of women that you could be like right now. You could say, Sabrina, Lizzie, Carol, let's go. Let's get in a pod and let's today, you know, push through for 10 minutes. We're going to do some follow-ups, and so that you're not feeling alone. And when you get those objections or those conversations, you're going to go right back to those people.
Okay.
They're going to remind you why you're in it. So rely in the community and jump in the middle of the bed in the business. Like, don't do it alone. Jump right in.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome. Anyone else? Anyone else, guys? No questions? You're ready to hop off and work? Okay, I love it. All right. So again, remember, 10x your actions, and don't forget, your effort needs to match your goal. Girls, go slay the crap out of this Friday. I wish you all the best. Let's pop some diamonds in here. Love you all. Talk to y'all soon. Bye, guys.